It was announced last week that the province is going to be funding RSV vaccinations for all newborns and high-risk children up to 24 months of age. Pregnant women will also get access to a shot that protects their infants from birth to 6 months of age.
Doreen Alshar is a maternal fetal medicine physician at the University of Ottawa and joins us live now via FaceTime with more on this important conversation. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. Maybe we can start with a review of the impact that RSV has on infants.
No, that's great. That's fantastic that we're talking about this morning. RSV has a great impact on infants in the first year of life and even longer if you've got high-risk conditions. It's the main cause of hospitalizations for infants less than 6 months of age. 50% of those babies end up in the hospital, can be quite sick. It's really exciting to talk about different options that can protect these infants that we now have available to us.
Yeah, doctor, we talked so much about RSV in the last sort of 6 months to a year or so. So the province, announcing these new vaccination guidelines, can you kind of help us understand what it actually means for parents and also parents-to-be?
Yeah, no, exactly. So, we've heard about the vaccine becoming available and approved in Canada in December. That's the active immunization available to pregnant persons. And then the passive monoclonal antibody that's been approved in the past year as well. So now there's new options. Parents have to inform themselves about what's available in their regions and their province. And, across Canada, every province will deal with these recommendations differently based on their budget. So I think that's the key, is understanding what's available, what is the right choice for you and your family, and being informed and talking to your healthcare providers about it.
And Doctor, a task force that you are part of is really pushing for an awareness campaign about these vaccines. So what are your concerns and why do you think it's so important?
Yeah, so the task force was set up because we feel like we know there's a lot of different, health issues at hand, but this one is creeping up as the RSV season will start up. And we do have options that are available right now that can protect newborns that are born during that season. So that's the active immunization with the maternal vaccine. So making sure that providers, patients are aware of this option and opportunity available to them. Certainly, we know that also Ontario's new announcement is important because the passive immunization as well is available and, has been recommended to be hopefully publicly funded. So we just want to make sure all will be available and waiting for the, more detailed guidelines that will come out in the next few weeks. So we want people to talk about it and for their patients, tell them about options so that they make the decisions that's right for their families. So that's one of the things I do, every day right now in clinic is say, we have options for RSV. These are 2 options. Tell me what will work best for you and what questions you have, and guiding people to get the information.
And of course, doctor, clearly your patients are lucky that they have you as one of their doctors. But we also know in this province and in the country, there's a severe doctor shortage. Not every parent even has a family physician at this point. So how can any parent watching right now find out more about RSV? Where else can you turn if you can't necessarily turn to your family doctor right away?
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? I'm a obstetrician, so I tend to have a good contact with my patients while they're pregnant, but they need to have that continuous care information. So really important to look at public health units. We'll look at vaccination campaigns. As I said, the details of the announcement from Ontario, which is fantastic, that we will have, an Ontario publicly funded protection program for RSV, but we're waiting for those details. I tell my patients, keep an eye on where it'll be available. Will it be done in hospital? Will it be done in vaccination clinics? I think that we're going to have a different approach to this because of the shortage that you've expressed. So pharmacists are going to play a key role, expanded practice to our midwifery colleagues as well. So there's been a lot of work to try to make sure people can access the vaccination that they're interested in.
Doctor, just before we go, we have about 30 seconds here, but of course, throughout the pandemic and certainly sort of in the sort of ending days of the pandemic, as it were, vaccine hesitancy really came up here. What do you hear day to day from your patients? How concerned do you find people are nowadays about, especially newer vaccines?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think there's 2 parts of it. There is some vaccine hesitancy, but there's also some really good information and education that people did learn because we went through a pandemic and understood vaccines well. So I see both, where people are just like, oh, there's a vaccine. This is great. Sign me up. I want to protect myself and my family. And then we just have to talk through a little bit more with patients who do have a little bit more questions and concerns, and just understanding where they're coming from, making sure to explain the studies behind it, the safety and the evidence behind vaccination, how well it works to protect us long term. say vaccines make healthy adults.
All right, Dr. Doreen Elshar, thanks so much for joining us and shedding light on this important issue. Appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Great conversation. Thank you for that. And we'll be back with more CP24 Breakfast coming up right after this quick break.